Well, oh, it's snowing.
That's cute.
Hi, I'm Shamaya. It's like papaya, except it's not. And this is Plot Twist Please. Welcome to my humble abode. Welcome to my couch. Welcome to my pillow. I have a little different of a setup today than I usually do because I kind of want it to be cozy. In my home. Today, I'm going to talk about autism and empathy. Now, if you know me, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I am a Black autistic woman, and one of the things that I really wanted to do with this channel was to open myself up, to be vulnerable with y'all, to a degree. If you want me to be really vulnerable, you're gonna have to become a patron. But anyway, I wanted to be vulnerable with y'all to share some of my autistic struggles as a person who moves through the world. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about was empathy. So one thing that autistic people tend to have is either hyperempathy or lack of empathy. Now I fall in the hyperempathy part of that spectrum. It is a spectrum. So by that I mean, it's less of like a line of this side being the most autistic and this side being the least autistic. It's more like a wheel filled with different categories, like a pie chart of, diagnostic criteria, and you can fall at any level within each category. So like I experience hypersensitivity when it comes to sound. I'm very sensitive to sound, right? Whereas another autistic person who's still autistic might not be extremely sensitive to sound, might even need a whole bunch of sound to respond to the fact that there is sound. It might not register to them that the sound is loud, whereas the same sound would drive me up the wall. And at the same time, though I'm hypersensitive to sound, I can be hyposensitive to like things going on in my body due to interoception. So interoception is an amalgamation of the sensations in your body. So it's basically composed of like knowing that you're hungry, knowing that you're thirsty, knowing that you're tired. And it can relate to emotions too, like knowing when you're angry before you start to blow up, or knowing when you're sad before you start to burst. I don't have that. So when I'm mad, I'm really mad. When I'm sad, I'm really sad. And when I'm hungry, I'm really hungry because I don't feel the levels reaching up to that point of explosion. Like I don't feel them. I just know when it is over the top. So that's what I mean when I say that it exists on a different spectrum for everybody who's autistic, for every autistic person. So when we're talking about empathy, right? I am someone who feels empathy to the highest degree, like almost to my detriment. Someone could literally slap me in the face and I'd be like, they must have had a really hard day. It's fine. We're working on it. And that's not to say like, oh, I'm such a good person, because it's not. Sometimes it's not good. People can be harmful by smothering you. People can be harmful by being over empathetic. Harm is everywhere and anyone is capable of it. I remember when I was younger and I would feel the emotions of the people around me to the point where like it was hard for me to handle. Whenever someone around me was sad, I would cry. When someone around me was angry, I would feel this intense rage. And I would even get upset at the thing that would make them upset. Like when my siblings would act out and my parents would get noticeably upset, I would be so mad at my siblings. I would be mad at them. And I was little. So like when you're little and you're feeling these big emotions, like sometimes you don't know where to put them. And so like sometimes I wouldn't really put them in the best places. Sometimes I would exhibit behaviors that weren't healthy, that weren't pleasant, that weren't kind. It's for a very similar reason as to why I can't watch a lot of there's a very specific kind of action movie that I can watch, and there's a very specific kind of action movie that I just have to stay away from. Like, count me out, I'm gonna be over there. I can't watch Kill Bill. I tried it, it wasn't for me, for other reasons as well, but I couldn't do it. During a lot of fight scenes in like those old school Jackie Chan movies, my dad loved Jackie Chan, I would really have to like close my eyes for some of the parts, or like squint my eyes so that I wasn't seeing fully this person being punched in the face. Because here's the thing, I am not exaggerating when I say this. Like, it's going to seem like I'm exaggerating to prove a point, but I swear I'm not. I physically feel when I watch someone get like kicked in the face or punched in the face. I feel it. Like it hurts my body, like my nerves react. And I don't know how to explain that to someone without like them like, I don't know how to explain that in a way that would make sense to someone who doesn't experience that often. But literally, like, if I'm watching a movie and someone's arm gets cut off, my arm hurts. Like, I don't know how to explain that. As much as I appreciate from a like artistic standpoint and like from a theoretical, you know, talking about like themes about human nature and about the human condition and about like what drives people to madness and what drives people to do these heinous things. Like, I love that part, but I can't watch Saw. I can't watch like I can't do it, and I hate it. I hate it because there's so many interesting movies out there that I know I'm missing out on. I did watch Squid Game and I did shut my eyes for a lot of it, but I also took breaks. Like, I took like some water breaks. I took like some, you know, get my spirit right breaks. That was a good one. Like, that was a good series. But see, that's what it takes for me to be able to endure stuff like that. Like, it has to be like a marathon. Like, I can't just throw myself in there. So that is the whole empathy thing. And I also think that it's worth noting that empathy can get us in a lot of trouble with other people, especially people who have ill intentions. I've been in some really heinous situations because of my empathy, you know, because someone clocked that I had intense empathy and took advantage of that. People will take advantage of that, whether they mean to or not. So that gets me in some trouble, but I am good now at sussing out who has ill intentions toward me and who is genuine, because I'm very good at telling who is trying to conceal information from me. That's a whole nother video. Check that one out after you check this one out. But I also find that it has been a huge blessing to me as well. You know, being empathetic has allowed me to meet people and to relate to people who are nothing like me, whose lives and whose lifestyles don't mirror mine at all. You know, I think I have such a wide perspective and so many different pieces of life to pull from because of my empathy, and I have so many different, you know, areas of knowledge to pull from and experiences to pull from because of that empathy. And so that means better quality content for y'all, and that means being able to be in some way, in a very small way, I think, but being able to be a valuable person in society who shares ideas online, and, you know, in person, because now I'm starting to do speaking engagements, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, I think that hyper empathy has allowed me to be able to relate to a lot of people, and because I relate to a lot of people, I can easily connect with a lot of people and am able to have a wealth of knowledge because of that and because of the experiences with these people. So that's a plus. I love that. So yeah, there are positive aspects of being hypersensitive and there are negative aspects as well. Now, if you're hyposensitive, it typically means that you don't empathize very easily or quickly with other people. And here's the thing, I struggle with this notion because I really do think that autistic people, or if you're new here, non-autistic people, have a very specific idea of what empathy looks like. That might not necessarily resonate with every autistic person. We're not working on the same wavelength anyway, so like, how do we know that these people aren't experiencing empathy? Like, how do we know? And hey, disclaimer, I'm not a psychologist or mental health professional. These are just thoughts that I have from the research that I have done as a civilian who is interested in mental health topics and who experiences life from an autistic lens. But yeah, I do wonder if hyposensitive autistics do experience empathy, but they just express it differently. I don't know. That's for y'all to answer, I guess, if y'all the professionals out there. Hyperempathy, though, is really interesting and can be really difficult in another way. And this one is a little complex, so, you know, gear up, buckle up, chestnuts. Here we go. Sometimes when an autistic person has experienced trauma, the empathy problem heightens because while some of us, me, happen to be hyper empathetic, we also tend to suffer from black and white thinking. So though we might be able to recognize that there are two truths that can exist at once, what we will do is we'll constantly go back and forth with these two truths because our like brains don't think that they can coexist. Like, we literally think there has to be either black or white. Like, it has to be yes or no. There can be no good or middle ground because that's not information that we are comfortable working with. It's kind of like an equation. Like, if you know that the number is 4, rather than 4p or 4m or 4s, if you know anything about algebra, about calculus, then the answer becomes clearer. But if there's a variable in there that changes, there's a lot of different outcomes you can have. And we like consistency. We don't like when there can be a lot of different outcomes. We like when the outcome is clear and when the outcome is consistent. So when something happens to us that, you know, traumatizes us, if you're inclined to be hyper empathetic, you're going to empathize with that person who harmed you, whether their harm was valid or not. Like it could be, you could be in a really dangerous situation and someone was consistently harming you, but you will empathize with them because of that tendency. And then at the same time, even when you go through therapy, even when you go through, you know, your self-actualization and you realize that this person has harmed you, the slight chance that you were wrong will make you teeter all the way to the other side, because it has to be either or. That empathy is the thing that makes you think, wait, I might have been wrong. Like there's a slight chance I might have been wrong. You can't deal with the gray. So it's either you were completely right or you were completely wrong. And that's what I would say is the most dangerous part. It can really start to make you disconnect from yourself, like from your body. And that's something that I've had to learn over the years, is how to really connect with my body, because my body knows before I know. Like my body will know what's going on before I can even verbalize it, before I can even put it into my conscious mind. Like my body knows. My body knows when I don't want something. My body knows when there's an unwanted advance before I start thinking about, did I want that? Like, no, my body knows that I didn't want that. You know, when you don't like a food, like when you start gagging, your body knows before you can think, do I like this food? Does this food feel good on my tongue? With empathy, it's a balance. It's a balance. And I think a lot of people, autistic or not, are always going to have to learn how to ride that wave. It just is a lot harder when you are prone to either or, i.e. when you're autistic. It's just hard. But we got this. We can do this. You can do this. I really hope that this video helped you if you are autistic, and I hope it was informative if you're not. Join the Patreon if you want more, you know, sticky details about my life and about my feelings and how things have impacted me on a deeper level. And like, share, subscribe if you feel so led. Last thing, stay weird. Bye.